This is Cheryl from Little Church Knits, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to work the Kitchener stitch. The Kitchener stitch is what we use whenever we want to graft two runs of live stitches together, such as in the toe of a sock. This creates almost a row of stitches that join these two sections together, so it doesn't look or feel like a seam when it's done. This is not a difficult stitch to do, but it does require a certain amount of focus, so you'll want to be a little, quite distraction free if possible when you get ready to work this. I've created a little cheat sheet, which I find very handy. I'm going to try to make it available as a PDF download on my blog at littlechurchknits.com. I'll just explain the shorthand. P for purl, K for knit, F for front, which refers to this front needle, the needle closest to you, and B for back, which is the needle farthest from you. On, meaning leave the stitch on the needle, and off, meaning slip the stitch off the needle. You're going to want to start by loading up two needles with all the stitches to be grafted. You're going to want to have an equal number of stitches on the front and on the back needle. It doesn't have to be an even number, it just has to be an equal number. You need to have the same number of stitches in order for this to work. So to start off with, we need to execute these two setup rows, purl front on and knit back on. So we'll start with purl front. We're going to slip the tapestry needle into that first stitch as if to purl, and this is kind of important. It's something that's noted all the way through the steps of the Kitchener stitches, whether you enter the stitch as a knit or a purl. And in this first setup step, you enter it as a purl. Purl front, and we're going to leave it on the needle. Second setup step is knit back on. So we're going to enter that stitch as if to knit, and we're going to leave it on the needle. Now we're ready to start the 4 easy steps to grafting these stitches together. First step is to knit front and lift it off. Enter that stitch as if to knit, and then gently lift the stitch off the front needle. Step 2 is purl front and leave it on. So we're going to enter that stitch as if to purl and leave the stitch on the needle. Step 3 is purl back off. So we're going to enter the first stitch on the back needle with the tapestry needle as if to purl. And we're going to slip that off the needle. Step 4 is to knit back on. The tapestry needle in as if to knit. Oops, get in there. And leave that stitch on the needle. We go back to step 1 again. Knit front off. Put the tapestry needle in as if to knit. Slip the stitch off the needle. Step 2, purl front on. Needle into the stitch as if to purl. Leave the stitch on the needle. Step 3, purl back off. Slip that in as if to purl. And slip the stitch off the needle. Knit back on as if to knit, and leave it on the needle. Knit front off. And you want to snuggle it up, not death grip tight, but snug. Purl front on, purl back off, knit back on. Back to step 1, knit front off into the stitch as if to knit, slip it from the needle, purl front, on. Leave it on the needle. Purl back, off. Slip it off, snuggle it up, knit back, on. So you should have noticed by now that when a stitch is going to come off the front needle, it's going to come off knitwise, and when it comes off the back needle, it's going to come off purlwise. In between, you'll be preparing the stitch next to it for it to be eventually grafted. Knit front, off. Purl front, on. Purl back, off. Oops. Knit back, on. And you can see already after just a few stitches that it really does look like those two runs of live stitches have been knitted together. It's not the prettiest Kitchener stitch I've ever done, but it improves with practice. I'll show you one more time. Step 1, knit front, off, purl front, on, purl back, off, knit back, on. And that's all there is to it. You'll be grafting toes with lightning speed. Thanks for watching. Bye for